So today I'm exploring what money is. What the fuck is money? I've been operating under these assumptions or these definitions that don't fit, they don't work well enough, like, oh, money's what we value. Money is what we agree it is. These are vague things. I'm really trying to dig deep into what money is. So what I've done so far is I've connected money to everything else that human beings measure. Because I may not know what money is yet, but I know that it's measured in the same way everything else is measured. Space, time, information, weight, mass, destructive power of a nuclear bomb. Everything is measured this way. It's measured in terms of numbers, quantities, and the system for measurement is the same. Basically, it's based on 10, and you have a basic unit, and then you multiply that by 1,000 or a million or a billion or a trillion. So you start with a bit of information. 8 bits is 1 byte of information. 1,000 bytes, kilobyte. 1,000,000 bytes, gigabyte. 1,000,000,000 bytes. Wait, no. 1,000,000 bytes is megabyte. 1,000,000,000 bytes is gigabyte. 1,000,000,000,000 bytes is terabyte. 1,000 tons of TNT, explosive power. What is that? Kiloton. 1,000,000 tons of TNT, a megaton. We have a meter, kilometer. 1,000 meters. A megameter. 1,000,000 meters, but no one says that. But the system for measurement is the same. So what is a dollar? A dollar is no different from a centimeter. It is a unit of measuring something. So a centimeter is a unit we use to measure space, something in space. What is a dollar? It is a unit we use to measure money, or a quantity of money, just like a centimeter is a quantity of space. And so a dollar, or you take a centimeter and an inch, you can convert one into the other. A dollar and a euro, you can convert one to the other. They're different units for measuring the same thing. In one case it's space, in the other case it's money. So I'm trying to ask myself, what the hell is money? What does a dollar measure? You say, oh, it's value. Well, what is value? What does a dollar measure? And even so, what does space measure? What does an inch measure? Does space really exist? It doesn't really exist except in here. We make this model in here, we project it onto the reality, and if it fits, it works, and we can use stuff and manipulate objects based on how we've measured their dimensions in our minds and stuff like that. So I'm thinking money is much the same way. Money doesn't really exist either. Money is an internal thing that is measured the same way space is measured, or time is measured, seconds, days, hours. It's big units broken into smaller units, or smaller units aggregated into larger units. Hours become days, days become weeks and months and years, but what those units measure at different scales is the same thing, which is time. Just like a meter, kilometer, or even a light year is a measurement of the same thing. Space at different scales. And so money, a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. A cent is a $1 which is 1/100th of a dollar. It's the same thing, like space and time. It's space and money and time and everything it's the same thing. It's like the same pattern that we're applying onto different things. So what's $1,000 could be called a kilodollar, the same way 1,000 meters is called a kilometer. $1,000,000 is a megadollar, the same way a bomb with 1,000,000 tons of TNT as explosive power would be a megaton bomb. So money's very loaded for me, very emotionally loaded. I'm demystifying it right now because technically this is correct, that there's so many feelings like, oh, $1,000,000 means I get to feel this way, or I have no money, or I'm in debt, I have to feel that way, when really money is a factual state with no emotions attached to it unless we attach emotions to it. It's just, or at least the measurement of money is, the number of dollars is like, oh, I have this many centimeters, you have that many centimeters. It's like, well, okay, So you have this much space, I have that much space, but what is space? Like, it matters in certain contexts, but what does it fucking matter? And so I'm connecting these things because they're the same thing. The measurement of money and the measurement of space, let's say, they work exactly the same way. There is something that is being measured. I don't know what to call it, a concept, an entity, something. There is something, I guess thing is the best I've come up with, that is being measured. If that thing is money, we measure it in terms of cents and dollars or euros, depending on where a person is in the world. They'll use different language, different units, which can be converted into one from the other, like miles and kilometers, kilograms or pounds, even though they're technically slightly different. A pound is a weight and kilograms is mass. Functionally, much of the time they function the same way on Earth, unless you're in a physics classroom. So, pounds measure mass or weight. On Earth it's pretty much the same thing. So you can convert pounds into kilograms, just like, but the thing that's being measured is the same thing. So what is a pound and what is a kilogram? You have this many pounds here and that many kilograms. It's two different ways of talking about the same thing, just like X amount of dollars and Y amount of euros. Dollars can be converted into euros and the other way. There are different types, there are different ways of talking about the same thing. A dollar is not different. It doesn't describe something different from what a euro describes, or a yen, or pounds, like sterling, like in the UK, whatever. These things are different labels we attach and different measurement sticks and different quantities of measuring the same thing, which is money. And then what is money is the question. That's the topic of this. I don't know what the fuck money is. I don't know. But I'm trying to figure it out. I know it's emotionally loaded. I'm trying to get rid of the emotions and just look at it exactly the way it is. And so far, it's a mental construct, as far as I can tell. Because the number you see in your PayPal account balance isn't different from the number you see in a physics book. It's exactly the same symbol. The only thing that's different between what you see in the physics book and what you see on your PayPal account is the unit. And the unit describes what the quality of the thing that is being measured is. Because 1,000,000 kilometers in a physics book, the 1 million number is exactly the same symbol as the $1 million you'd see in your account if you had $1 million. A million, except there's a different symbol at the end of the kilometers, which is km, which says the quality of the thing that's being quantified is spatial. And then in money terms, you have a dollar sign, which says that this quantity, symbolized by the exact same symbol, which is a 1 with 6 zeros at the end of it, this 1 million symbol is followed by this other symbol, which means that this million is describing or measuring a different quantity than this symbol is. This is measuring 1 million units of space. This is measuring 1 million units of money. And so what the fuck is money? Space is easier to grasp because it's right here. It's like, okay, this is a unit of space, this is 2 of them, this is 3 of them. I can project that onto any kind of reality, any kind of unit arbitrarily, and multiply and add and subtract and divide those units. And I can tell, okay, space is like, okay, so what my hand is moving through. Even if it is abstract and you really look at it and say, does space really exist or is it just in the mind? Basically, space is in the mind and it's projected onto this existence or reality, and we make sense of things with space. But the same thing cannot be said of money. Just like time is kind of more ephemeral. You can measure it the same way. There's 1 second, 2 seconds. It's like how long we wait here. But then again, what does waiting here really mean? I don't know. But money. What does money measure? No. What is money? Because money is measured. Money doesn't measure anything. Money is what is being measured. It's like time or space. It's what we measure with dollars, just like we measure space with centimeters. So what is being measured when we measure money? What exactly is it? Is money something I can move my hand through? No, that's space. What is money? I have $10. What does that mean? Well, a dollar is a unit of money, so I have 10 units of this size. So there's a size to it, but is that size just internal, or is that size physical? What is it? I guess if you have paper bills, it's a physical thing, but it's thought of in terms of size. I think everything is fundamentally thought of in terms of size. The numbers that we use to describe every kind of entity, storage on digital chips and whatever, it's 1,000,000 is bigger than 1,000. Even the numbers, there's more zeros, it gets longer. There's a physical dimension to it, or in our thought process, it's physical. We think of it physically. More money is bigger than less money. So $10 is more dollars than $1, and you think of it as bigger. But really, it doesn't exactly have a size anymore, because if it's a number on PayPal, that doesn't exactly take up any more physical space except on the screen. $1,000,000 can do things in the world, I guess, or can be used to do things in the world that might not be explained, explicated, or portrayed by the difference of the size of the number on the screen, like 1 0 versus 6 on the screen doesn't exactly capture the difference between $1,000,000 and 10 in terms of what the power of the thing is. Whereas, like, if you had space, if you were measuring space, you'd be able to see it. 1 inch versus 10 inches. Okay, I can see the difference between these. But so that's the thing about money. It's like you can't see it. I can't see it. Because space is like, okay, 1 centimeter, 10 centimeters. I can see it. This is 1. This is 10. Whatever. I can see it. But $1 versus $10, I can't really see it, because it's like the power to unlock doors or something. Money can unlock doors, something like that. But like, there's the level, right? There's the 10 inches, and then there's the level of like, okay, how are we going to describe this space, which is the number 10 and then the unit. And then there's money, whatever the fuck money is, and then there's the number 10 and then the unit. So at some level, from 1 to 10 is the same change in the number that describes the thing. But space I can see growing, and money I can't see it. What is money? What is growing? People have these, money is a unit of account. No, it's not. A dollar is a unit. Dollars are units of account. But what is being counted? That's the question. What's in an account? It's a count of something. You account. It's a count of money. In your bank account, it's a count of your money. The money is not a unit. The money is described in terms of units, like dollars. So what is being stored in a bank account? What is being counted? That's what all these things have in common. Counting. We count. We can count space. We can count time. We can count money. We can count power. We can count energy. We can count storage in digital devices. We can count things and measure things and quantify things and classify things based on these numbers. But what are the things that we're accounting for? What is money? So, give me a minute. What is money? What is money? What is being measured by dollars? When I look at the screen and I see $100, I'm like, what does that mean? What is that? Well, what's on the screen is a symbol, the same symbol used to describe a million other things in the world. It's a number. It's digits that say This represents something. And then the dollar sign will say, this is the type of thing that it represents. You're measuring money. This is a quantity of money, or it's a representation of the quantity of money that you can manipulate right now, or that you can control right now. That's what that is. And then what is it? What is it measuring? And another way to describe money is like something that can be exchanged. It's something that can be divided. Something that can be divided. We agree on that. But what is money itself? Is money something like space that exists everywhere? And we just use localized measurements to help with particular object in space? Like, what is money itself? Is it just like a field? Like space is just this field where we can make measurements in it? What is money? What is being measured by dollars? What do dollars measure? Worth? But then this gets psychological because it's not self-worth. Having more money than someone else doesn't make you more valuable in terms of like intrinsically valuable, but it makes you more valuable in a way. This is a fucking conflation of value and the idea of value there. Because it's like the feeling of value and then the fact of value, and then how do these things even get separated? And the opinion of value. How much something is worth is an opinion. Just an opinion a lot of people agree on, that becomes like a fact. And then you feel a certain way about it. It's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is if someone has more money than you don't have to feel worse than they do. Or if someone has less money, you don't necessarily feel better than they do, because how you feel doesn't come from the amount of dollars that you have. Maybe that's where I'll end it for now. That's a discovery. So instead of what money is, let's say what money isn't. What do dollars not measure? They don't measure how you feel inside.